Hey everybody out there, this is Jakejames Lugo, Senior Editor here at thecoalition.com, and I got a brand new video with some gameplay and impressions for you guys to enjoy. Today I'm going to be talking about Omega Strike on the PlayStation 4. Now, originally we had planned to do a regular review, a written review on the Coalition website, but because when the game actually came to us, it was literally right before or right during E3 time, things got a little bit hectic and it got pushed back before we could even actually touch the game. There were so many things that were happening at that time. So not only did we decide, you know what, let's not just like let it go to waste here. Let's actually talk about it, play it for a bit, and actually present it to you guys and talk a little bit about Omega Strike. So what exactly you're looking at right now is straight from the game. It's on the PlayStation 4 version. It's developed by Wobblyware, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and it's a Metroid-Vania style game with an 8-bit style aesthetic, or 16-bit depending on how you look at it. But it's pretty cool because it has some really good controls. You have multiple playable characters you could use that each one, you know, depending on when you actually run into them and you defeat bosses and stuff, have different abilities that also get further upgraded as you play through the game. There's a bunch of different areas to explore. It's very open-ended as far as where you can go and how you could actually pick up certain items, certain power-ups, as well as also free certain characters. At the very start of the game, you actually start off with all three main characters that you have. You know, a bunch of them have like the ability to double jump. Some of them have the ability to push like, you know, really big objects that are like super heavy and different things like that. But then very similar to like Symphony of the Night, you know, the Castlevania game back on the PlayStation, all your stuff is taken away from you and you have to kind of discover and find all your abilities and all your characters once again. And by the time you reach the end of the story, you'll be able to actually take on the final boss or the main bad guy, which I believe is called Dr. Omega, you know, very similar to Omega Strike, the actual name. Very cheesy, I know. But some of the better things about this game, like I mentioned before, is the controls. I think the controls are very solid, very responsive. If you like these style of platformers or this Metroidvania style of game, this is going to be right up your alley. If you're not too keen on the actual aesthetic and the visuals, maybe this might not be for you because, again, this isn't an 8-bit / 16-bit style. And even though that's kind of in now these days, and a lot of different games, especially indie games, are really kind of gravitating towards that because they're a little bit easier to make, you know, as compared to like a lot of the more high-fidelity, crazier looking visuals that are out there, whether it's 3D or 2D. But for this game, it actually looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty dope, and again, everything works together. Now, some of the things I will say that I wasn't really too keen on was the actual variety of enemies. I know that they have a bunch of different bosses that they have all these different types of style of attacks, they have different patterns, and some of them look pretty cool, but the majority of other enemies, the smaller enemies, are kind of a little bit copy and paste. They're really, they're reused in multiple times in multiple stages, and even though in later stages enemies get a little bit more powerful, they get a little bit much more savvy and they're able to damage you and kind of get around some of your attacks and abilities a little bit easier, they're still essentially the same type of enemies as you're kind of going through each area of the game. I wasn't really too keen on that. I wish that there was a little bit more enemy variety, but that's just me. I know that the game is supposed to support about 45 different enemy types, as well as also 12 different bosses, but it felt like for the majority of the time, a lot of the enemies were pretty much the same, or at least they looked the same. But for me, that's a small nitpick in comparison to like the rest of the entire game. Again, I still think like there's a lot of good stuff that's in here. If you like this style of game, there's a lot of different treasures and hidden abilities and just, you know, scattered different stuff and secrets to discover throughout every single area. Again, in that same type of Metroidvania, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night type of style, I think it's pretty cool. So overall, is this a good game that people should dive into? Well, if you like indie games, if you like stuff that is a little bit familiar, but it's something a little bit different, you might get an actual kick out of this. Again, if you're liking what you're seeing on screen right now, this might be right up your alley. So anyway, I just wanted to give some impressions there, give a little bit of thoughts, you know, and make sure that we kind of didn't shy over this game with, in kind of, you know, hindsight of all the craziness that's been going on throughout the month of June and July and stuff. But let me know what's up in the comment section below. Tell me your guys' thoughts if you guys are liking this actual game, if you're liking Omega Strike, or if you have any other thoughts related to other games maybe we should spotlight whenever we get the chance. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the Coalition's YouTube channel for all our videos related to gaming, podcasts, interviews, event coverage, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. We got some really cool surprises that you guys are definitely going to enjoy coming very, very soon. Can't wait to share them with you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.